Also developing tonight, former New York Congressman George Santos sentenced to over 7 years in prison. This after pleading guilty last summer to wire fraud and identity theft.
Fox 5's Jodi Goldberg was inside the courtroom as the sentence was handed down and joins us from Central Islip. Jodi, things got pretty emotional, we understand.
Antoine and Bianca, we saw a different side of Santos today. He was somber and tearful, 2.5 years in the making. When the judge handed down that 87-month sentence, he buried his head in his hands. And some say he got what he deserved.
Hey, George.
Wearing a gray suit, blue sweater vest, and brown loafers, George Santos walked past the media circus he many times stopped to chat with as he arrived at court Friday for his sentencing. The former disgraced congressman, who had a countdown on social media for this day, cried to the judge inside the courtroom and said he was remorseful. And although the judge said that she did have sympathy for him, she didn't hold back on imposing the 87-month maximum sentence, saying he engaged in, quote, flagrant thievery.
Have fun, George. You're going where you belong.
My reaction in sitting in the courtroom was cry me a river.
Constituents in the district he once served in stood outside the courthouse with signs. They created a new platform to crack down on political lies, saying they won't be fooled twice by people in power.
The work is hardly over. We need to keep working and keep an eye on the government.
Prosecutors who had pushed for the max sentence of 87 months argued Santos committed crimes of greed and ambition. Last summer, the 36-year-old pleaded guilty to wire fraud and identity theft. He agreed to pay more than $500,000 in restitution and forfeiture.
Officials who lie and steal and defraud will find themselves in a courtroom, and they will learn, as George Santos has, that there's a serious price to pay for corrupt behavior.
George Santos was the polar opposite of what a public servant should be. He is without integrity, unconcerned with his constituents, and self-interested in every way.
But supporters say it's too long behind bars. Santos and his attorneys asked for the 24-month mandatory minimum, saying the crimes he committed were financial, not violent. They left the courthouse without commenting.
It's ridiculous. He's somebody who, did what everyone else did, and because he's not super rich, he's going to jail.
I talked to him to keep his head up and that he'll be fine.
He admits to making his own mistakes, George, and hopefully President Trump gets wind of it and maybe he can pardon him.
And whether he'll be pardoned still remains to be seen. Santos, who has a podcast, Pants on Fire, will have to surrender on July 25th. We're outside of federal court in Central Islip. Jodi Goldberg, Fox 5 News. Antoine, right back to you.
All right, Jodi, thank you.